Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Now, it's 3 o'clock in the morning as I record this, UK time. I should be asleep in bed, and normally I would be, but something almost serendipitous happened. I fell asleep here at my desk after I finished streaming tonight. The light is still on, the recording light, my PC was still on, everything ready to go, and when I woke up and was just about to get up and hit the hay, I saw a ton of tweets waiting for me. And they were pointing me to this. Blizzard's response by El Presidente of the Communist Republic of Blizzard, J. Allen Barak, to the recent Hearthstone outcry, debacle, whatever you want to call it, situation regarding Blitzchung, his banning, his removal of prize money, etc. And I'll just tell you right now, this video isn't going to be a build-up punchline that I'm going to go through the detail and then I'm going to explode in a tirade at the end of it. I'll just tell you here and now what I think of this article right here. This article is a blatant attempt to appease both China, and we'll get into that very specifically, and also people who have been outraged and outcried about this incident. And because they've tried to do it in such a fashion, the article clearly comes across as disingenuous, and to quote one of my heroes, Judge Judy, if something doesn't make sense, it's not true. And there are plenty of things in this article which don't make sense, and they don't make sense because they're not true. Also, there are contradictions to be held here and there, and I will get into them as well. I think this article is ridiculous, and I think J. Allen Barak is a clown. He is a president in name only. He's a puppet. He's a puppet of Activision Blizzard. He's the person that would take the money to be the spokesperson for Activision. So let's, with that said, get into this article. Hello Blizzard community. I want to take a few minutes to talk to you all about the Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament this past weekend. On Monday, we made the decision to take action against a player named Blitzchung and two shoutcasters after the player shared his views on what's happening in Hong Kong on our recent broadcast, official broadcast channel. At Blizzard, our vision is to bring the world together through epic entertainment. Now, piss off. And we have core values that apply here. Well, years ago, maybe. Think globally. You definitely do. You think of China all the time. Sorry, I'll cut the sarcasm. Lead responsibly, and importantly, every voice matters. Encouraging everybody to share their point of view, unless it's on an official broadcast channel, in which case, okay, but never mind. The actions that we took over the weekend are causing people to question if we are still committed to these values. We absolutely are, and I will explain. Our esports programs are an expression of our vision and our values. Esports exists to create opportunity for players from all around the world, from different cultures, from different backgrounds, to come together to compete and share their passion for gaming. It is extremely important to us to protect these channels and the purpose they serve, to bring the world together through epic entertainment, celebrate our players, and build diverse and inclusive communities. Diverse and inclusive. Just people, for goodness sake. People are people. Stop turning it into some sort of identity thing. So this is all well and good. You know, this is all a basic standing point for the explanation that's to come. But the thing is, this would be all well and good if the explanation afterwards wasn't full of, well, lies, misinformation, hypocrisy. So, as to how these values apply in this case, first, our official esports tournament broadcast was used as a platform for a winner of this event to share his views with the world. We interview competitors who are at the top of their craft to share how they feel. We want to experience that moment with them. Hearing their excitement is a powerful way to bring us together. Over the weekend, Blitzchung used his segment to make a statement about the situation in Hong Kong. In violation of rules, he acknowledged and understood, and this is why we took action. Every voice matters. And we strongly encourage everyone in our community to share their viewpoints in the many places available to express themselves. However, the official broadcasts need to be about the tournament and to be a place where all are welcome. In support of that, we want to keep the official channels focused on the game. So let's get into this one, okay? So they're saying Blitzchung knew that he broke TOS, the conditions of the tournament, when he expressed his political opinion. The way that it should have been dealt with, and you could speak to a multitude of different people, but I think the consensus from sound mind seems to be all Blizzard had to do was issue him with a warning. That's all they had to do. And they could have released a statement to that. All they had to do is pull him aside and say, these events are for gaming and to keep it to gaming alone. You're expressing political values which we don't want to be here. Use your other platforms for that. If you want to do so, that is your prerogative. And then either say, if this is done again, there will be repercussions. I personally think that would have been the best way to deal with it. But I can understand when some people say, slap a minor penalty on them. And when I say a minor penalty, a minor penalty, you gotta, maybe you forfeit your next match. Maybe you have a tiny percentage of your winnings deducted. You have 5-10% of your winnings deducted. Enough to make a statement, shall we say, for people who are looking possibly to do the same. That is as heavy-handed as it needed to be. And then Blizzard simply had to release a statement saying, further to Blitzchung's actions in his interview, because remember, this isn't going out on national TV. In terms of, this isn't going out on the BBC One at 8 o'clock at night on a Monday when everyone's rooted to the TV. This isn't going out on CBS at prime time. Hundreds upon millions of people aren't watching this and thinking, oh, shock horror. There's a small faction of people, tiny faction of people watching this at the end of the day. So they just had to release a statement saying, further to their actions interview, we have decided to issue Blitzchung with a warning that any further actions like this will result in consequences, and they have had 10% of their prize money deducted as a penalty for this, as it is in violation of the rules. Probably nobody would have done a thing. They would have gone, fair enough. But the way that they immediately and explicitly came down on him like an absolute atom bomb clearly expressed something was afoot here. All $10,000 gone, taken away. A further year penalty from tournaments. Boom. You cannot compete for now another year. Immediate withdrawal from this one, obviously, etc. After he'd won it, of course. So the penalty that was levied was not just huge, but they were making a statement, making a point. And it coincides very specifically with this tweet from the Chinese official Hearthstone Twitter account, Weibo, it's Chinese Twitter, which, when you look at the language, and I'm going to read two different translations of this in the in fairness, for fairness' sake. Now, this is the one which is generally going around, which people are using. We are very angered and disappointed at what happened at the event last weekend and highly object to the expression of Now, they highly object to expression of personal political beliefs in any of our events. As always, we will defend the pride and dignity of China at all costs. Now, the second one actually comes from IGN, who say they've had an independent translator. Now, this goes into every bit. You know, you can see there's a tiny bit cut out here. I think it's in regards to they'll be banned with immediate effect. We express our strong indignation or resentment, so again, a very negative word, and condemnation of the events that occurred in the Hearthstone Asia Pacific competition last weekend, and absolutely oppose the dissemination of personal political ideas during any event or games. The players involved will be banned, and the commentators involved will be immediately terminated from any official business. We will protect or safeguard our national dignity or honour. So both ways, whichever you want to see it, is them coming down like a ton of bricks in defence of China. In defence of the integrity of their company for somebody's political beliefs. So to very dismissively here say that, it was actually about the rules and regulations. Horse shit. Bullshit. You're a liar. Because the way that they jumped on this and came down like a ton of bricks, that is a lie. Number two, second, what is the role of the shoutcasters for these broadcasts? Now, I haven't mentioned them a lot. I did mention them in the first video, but we also have to remember that it wasn't just Blitzchung that had their prize money taken away and was banned for a year. The broadcasters were sacked. They were both fired and would not be used again, according to the company. Second, what was the role of the shoutcasters for these broadcasts? We hire shoutcasters to amplify the excitement of the game. They elevate the watchability and help the esports viewing experience stay focused on the tournament and our amazing players. Third, were our actions based on the content of the message? I just want to go back and say one more thing. The way that they talk about inclusivity in safe spaces is them trying to use touchy-feely terminology to say, hey, you know, because we've got a bunch of far-right crazies going on right now. Far-left crazies, I should say, going on right now. So this is an effort to try and push that button, push that inclusivity and diversity button. Or if you say anything political, you're not being inclusive and diverse and friendly for all. It's just horse shittery. It's just current day 2019 horse shittery. Third, let's get back to third. Were our actions based on the content of the message? Part of thinking globally, leading responsibly, and every voice matters is recognizing that we have players and fans in almost every country in the world. Our goal is to help players connect in areas of commonality, like their passion for our games, and create a sense of shared community. The specific views expressed by Blitzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. I want to be clear. Our relationship in China had no influence on our decision. This is a blatant lie. A blatant and obvious lie. Right here. That is your official Hearthstone response that occurred. We will always defend the pride and dignity of China at all costs. We will protect, safeguard our national dignity or honour. It had everything to do with China. Everything. We know about the business going on. When I say we, the people who watch these videos, other commentators, Yongye, Quartering, Layman, all those, they know, we all know about the relationship with gaming, China, etc., etc., etc. So everyone who watches all these types of contents are in the know as well. The average gamer may not know. They may not be in the know as regards to that, and therefore they might not quite understand where this China business comes in and think it more of a political thing as opposed to what it is, which is a fiscal business relationship. The amount of money that is dealt through in mobile gaming and where it comes from, which is the vast majority, China. So to say that their decision to come down on Blitzchung like an absolute ton of bricks was not motivated by China, I call the biggest bullshit out ever. And when you lie, and when you so obviously lie, everything else means nothing. It means nothing at all. Because it shows how disingenuous you are, and it shows your willingness to attempt to deceive people. And this, we can all see, is utter bollocks. J. Allen Barak, you lie. And you know you are. Also, actually, I will tie this to something later on. Also, when they get in the what could we have done better section, they immediately, he says, we reacted way too quickly. I don't think Blizzard reacted too quickly. I think the Chinese forced a quick reaction. That's what I truly believe. I think the Chinese forced a quick and decisive, if they didn't take it upon themselves to do so, action upon Blitzchung. That's what I believe. Now let's just move on. We have these rules to keep the focus of the game and on the tournament to the benefit of global audience. And that was the only consideration in the actions we took. The actions of somebody who said, liberate Hong Kong, freedom of Hong Kong, whatever it is. A statement which lasted approximately 2 or 3 seconds. This wasn't somebody who took a platform and decided to recite the fucking Bible or anything like that. Just a 3-second. How scared they were at somebody's words. 3 seconds of words. Liberate Hong Kong, freedom for Hong Kong. Show solidarity to the protesters in Hong Kong. Like I said, if he had said something like impeach Trump or Hillary Clinton, do you mind not having people killed? They likely wouldn't have done anything. Boris Johnson is a clown. They likely wouldn't have even batted an eyelid. This was very specifically about the ongoings in China. This is bullshit. If it had been the opposing viewpoint delivered in the same divisive and deliberate way, we would have felt and acted the same. Bollocks. Again, when you've lied once, when it doesn't make sense, it's not true. And this statement is full of nonsensical statements. Okay, what could Blizzard have done better? And where do we go from here? We're not in an Alcoholic Anonymous meeting. Speak to people like the... Hey folks, where do we totally go from here and stuff? It'd be super awesome if we could be friends again. Cough. Over the past few days, many players, casters, esports fans and employees have expressed concerns about how we determined the penalties. Well, yes, because it was done immediately and like a ton of bricks and with clear consideration for your boyfriends in China. So yes, they had every right to be concerned. We've had a chance to pause, to listen to our community, listen to the outcry. That's what. And to reflect on what we could have done better. I'll get to it in a minute. In hindsight, our process wasn't adequate and we reacted too quickly. No shit, Sherlock. But there again, was it you that reacted quickly, or was it China that reflected quickly, or was it you that reacted quickly based off China pressuring you to act quickly and decisively against somebody that dare speak out against them? When you put the logical pieces together, it starts to make sense. When you try and dismiss the logic of it, this whole thing doesn't make a lot of it. We want to ensure that we maintain a safe and inclusive environment for all our players. Again, it's trying to twist things, trying to spin things, trying to make a political opinion. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. Trying to make an opinion of any kind dangerous. We want everything to be inclusive, and that means everybody must have one thing. No, it's not how the world works. People have different thoughts, opinions on everything. You can't govern that. I know you'd love to, but you can't govern that. So to use your bollocks wording like safe faces and all this kind of inclusivity, just get out. You're being disingenuous. Piss off. Just piss off. And that our rules and processes are clear. All of this is in the service of another important Blizzard value. Play nice, play fair. Okay then, let me just go back to this. Play nice, play fair. Why was America University not imposed any single penalty whatsoever for holding up a sign saying, "Free Hong Kong, boycott Blizzard"? They did the exact same thing as Blitzchung and received zero punishment. In actual fact, they were informed that they were about their next match coming up in the tournament, to which they themselves forfeited it, removed themselves from the tournament, and stressed they did so on the fact that it was hypocritical of Blizzard to not impose any penalty on them whatsoever and yet give Blitzchung his penalty. So it doesn't make sense. You're lying. In the tournament itself, this is the bribe, by the way, folks. This is the bribe. This isn't intended for Blitzchung. This is intended for us. And I'll explain in a moment. In the tournament itself, Blitzchung played fair. We now believe he should receive his prizing. That is saying, hey folks, we're giving him the money. It's a bribe to us. Oh, he's getting the money. We feel like he's being financially compensated now. We're going to give him the prize money for the tournament he won that we stripped him of and then banned him for a further year. We're going to give him the prize money. So this isn't to appease Blitzchung. This is to try and appease the people who are outraged by this. People who believe that he was hard done by this. This is where the bribe comes from. We understand that for some, this is not about the prize. It's not. It's clearly not. And perhaps for others, it is disrespectful to even discuss it. That is not our intention. Of course it is. Of course it is. And then we get to the closing of it. Sorry, I'll just shift this across a little bit. But playing fair also includes appropriate pre- and post-match conduct, especially when a player accepts recognition for winning in a broadcast. That's fine. And so, like I've said, and multiple people likely have said, afterwards, he should have just been taken aside, or, maybe not taken aside, because I don't know how they operate as regards to officiations there. But he should have been contacted, as I mentioned, and said, this is not the code of conduct we expect from this. Rap on the knuckles, reduction of prize money by 10% or whatever as a show, so they could put a statement out saying, hey, he has received some sort of penalty for this, and if further, and further to that, This is an esport competition, not a political forum. Sterner, whatever, stipulations will be imposed for people who do this. Which, of course, should have happened to American University, but they got nothing because they're Americans and not Chinese. Because it is political. This isn't about money. This is political, and you know it. When we think about the suspension, 6 months for Blitzchung is more appropriate. After which time he can compete in the Hearthstone Pro Circuit again if he so chooses. There is a consequence for taking the conversation away from the purpose of the event and disrupting or derailing the broadcast. 6 months. It's a fucking joke. It's a joke. Even 6 months is an absolute joke. This is where we get the quite blatant reason for this to try and appease the outcry and try and appease China. Because they still have to show to China that this person has received a very stern penalty. Freedom for Hong Kong. Liberate Hong Kong. 6-month ban. American University, free Hong Kong, boycott Blizzard. Nothing. Quite happy to continue in the tournament and going forward. The hypocrisy is ludicrous. Ludicrous. And if it isn't political, let me just bring something silly. Potentially silly in, but you'll understand in a moment. What's happened over the last few days in regards to how protesters have tried to turn this around. They've taken the character of Mei from Overwatch and they've tried to turn it into a free Hong Kong symbol. Turn something of Blizzard back on itself. Wednesday, when the whole thing started to blow up and national press were getting involved and senators were getting involved and people were trying to turn Mei into a political symbol, what happened? I'll tell you what happened, folks. This statue of Mei, which has been on pre-order on the Blizzard store, suddenly vanished. Suddenly vanished. Why? Who knows? Who knows? Why would they pull a statue? But that's just something silly. Something silly and maybe something to think about. Because if it's not political, why would you remove the political symbol from your website? The statue of it, the main feature. You know, you can still get like little things with logos on and stuff. But the main feature, the actual statue version, the figure itself, removed, gone. No word. Weird, huh? Weird. With regards to the casters, remember their purpose is to keep the event focused on the tournament. That didn't happen here, and we're still setting their suspension to 6 months as well. And we're setting their suspension, not still. So the people who are fired have now been told they've got a 6-month suspension. Again, ridiculously long. In an effort to try and appease the people who are outraged by this, the political stance on it, and China. Because they still have to show China that they are making a very stern statement to people that dare speak out. Unless, of course, you're an American who holds up a symbol and maybe go to American University that says, free Hong Kong, boycott Blizzard, and you get no punishment whatsoever. Sorry, I don't know why that keeps popping back into my head. Moving forward, we will continue to apply tournament rules, apart from to American University, which you didn't, let's just get that out again, to ensure our official broadcasts remain focused on the game and they are not a platform for divisive social, political views. One of our goals at Blizzard is to make sure that every player everywhere in the world, regardless of political views, religious beliefs, right, here we go. Here comes the emotional blackmail now. Here comes the let's group it up into inclusivity. Let's group this up into inclusivity and get it lost in the melee and the murk of identity politics and all that. We'll lose it in here. They can't get us in here. Because now we're going to say political views, religious beliefs, race, gender, any other consideration. You might like cock and be a dude. You're fine. Let's get it all in. Let's get it all in. Yeah? Let's get it all in. Always feels safe and welcome, both competing in and playing in our games. There's not anyone who couldn't have felt safe and welcome. Because he did it in an after interview, and the casters were quite clearly okay with what was being said and knew what was coming. Ridiculous. At Blizzard, we are always listening to China and finding ways to improve business with China. It is part of our culture. Well, it is now. It never used to be. But it is now. Thank you for your patience with us as we continue to learn. Oh, fuck right off. You're a grown man and a president of a company. And you're acting as if I'm just a small child lost in this crazy world of the internet and politics. And oh, wow. Oh, get out of here. This statement is pathetic. J. Allen Barak, you are a clown. You are a joke. You're quite clearly a puppet. A puppet willing to do and say what they want. And this whole statement is just a sack of crap. It really is. The question now is, how many people will this satisfy? Will this satisfy enough people for the outcry to die down? Or will people see this for exactly what it is? A sack of crap, a bunch of lies, a disingenuous... It's just trash. It's just trash that's desperately been thought of for the last 2 days. Because remember, the last time we heard from Blizzard was 2 days ago, where they said, we are assessing the situation. And it's taken them 2 days to come up with a statement they believe will appease both China, their communist overlords, and the people who have been upset and decried this set of events. Will it appease them, or will people see right through this? I guess time's going to tell. And yes, this is a long video. So there we go, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do give it a thumbs up. And also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming links. They're in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.